Good afternoon and welcome back to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn here again at Boyles of Killorglin in the beautiful garden centre, and I'm joined by our regular expert, Miguel. Miguel, how are you? Welcome back to the show.
I'm all right, thank you, Alan. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, there's lots of colour here in the garden centre, and it's pretty much what we're going to focus on today because there's a lot of people there. They've had the old basket in the shed, they've got a bed all ready to go, and they're looking for some instant colour. So today in the show we're going to talk about summer bedding and some hanging baskets.
Perfect, yeah, that's good. We're gonna talk about hanging baskets, but same principle. You can apply to borders, window boxes, whatever you want, right? This is basically the same principle. And is that they are very hungry plants, they are explosive growth, and you have to feed them properly.
Okay.
That's essential. So it's essential having a decent compost and feeding them regularly. People feed them with tomato food, but in my opinion, this Miracle Grow is an excellent product.
Okay.
If you feed them once a week with this,
Yeah.
follow the instructions, and you will see. It's a very big difference, believe it or not. It's
So
a
that's
very powerful.
Yeah, so it's the all-purpose water-soluble plant food from Miracle Grow, and it's great because there's a 20% extra value there as well too, which means you'll get a good.
And you get for a few with just one box, you'll get for the whole summer.
The whole summer, do the whole box.
Yeah, and it is, believe it or not, it's a very, very good product. I wouldn't be recommending it if it wasn't good. It's a very rich in all nutrients. And as they have a very high demand on these nutrients in a very short period of time, and the more you feed them, you can overfeed them also, but the more you feed them, the better for them. And have in mind that even with the best compost, in a month or so, all the nutrients will be gone.
Yeah, okay. And that's the whole thing because it's a burst of colour. They're literally they're a short lifespan, the majority of them. They're not perennials. They're not going to keep coming back. Although we might talk, is there one or two of them that might be perennials? But we're going to talk about basically the ones that are going to give you that beautiful burst of colour, mainly outside the front door, maybe out the back, couple of pots, window boxes as well too, being very popular.
Even in shady places, basilisses, they perform very well. Even geraniums in shady spots, they will be flowering. So don't worry about if it's north facing or not very sunny. You'll still have plants that will be flowering. Maybe not as spectacularly as they are in full sun, but they will.
Yeah. So that gives a lot of people options for people who are living in estates that mightn't have, as you said, a lot of sun. So what are the best performing plants or flowers that you find for hanging baskets?
Well, all the animals do very well in hanging baskets, but I will recommend always a centerpiece, an upright centerpiece, to give the hanging basket a little bit of height. And then you add around whatever you like in trailing to make the cascade of flowers. But I consider essential give them a decent centerpiece to give them a little bit of height. You can put small conifers or everything you like. You can transplant them later. I have geraniums here. Geraniums are very reliable. They are supposed to be annuals, the Pelargonium, the sonale or whatever. These summer geraniums are considered annuals, but I had one for 7 years. Only last frost killed it.
7 years?
7 years. Okay, I found it in a corner in the first house I rented here in Cork.
Yeah.
And it was in a small pot, and the root was breaking the bottom of the pot.
Yeah.
So I dig out a little bit, put it in a bigger pot, and it lasts for 7 years, believe it or not.
And flowered every year?
Flowering every year.
Wow. And this is a beautiful pink, very beautiful, vibrant pink as well. So the geraniums, they come in a lot of different colours. I know we have a lovely peach here as well too. The bright red is a huge favourite with a lot of people.
So see a centerpiece in the middle to give the height. You can use upright begonias or upright lobelias. I have one pot at home, a large one, and I have upright lobelias and trailing lobelias, and all in the same color. Wow. So it eventually will be a blast of blue.
Just a complete ball of blue color. Beautiful.
You can play with that little things if you want to play different colors. You can play also as me. I have different things, and trailing begonias, trailing petunias, trailing lobelias are wonderful. You can do a mix, you can do a combination of them here in these baskets.
We have a basket, we'll just tell the listeners, we have a basket here in front of us already made up. It has the begonia in the middle, looking
beautiful.
Geranium, looking beautiful. And then all around the side here.
4 petunias.
Petunias, lovely. Again,
Couple couple of bacopa.
The bacopas are lovely purple with a yellow flower.
And a few
center.
trailing petunias.
Okay, yet to burst through.
Yeah, and that's kind of instant filling. You will have two options here. Pack it up with plants, or just put the essential one. They will end up filling after.
Yes.
So if you're in a rush, you do a full, or it depends on your taste, the money you want to spend. There's plenty of things, you know. But if you want to go for a 16-inch basket, I will say a centerpiece, 4 trailing begonias, 4 trailing petunias,
north, south, east, and west. Yeah.
And 4 trailing lobelias. That could be fine.
Yeah.
If you want to pack it up like we did it a little bit more with the other ones.
But is that a common mistake? I'm touching here now because I'm thinking that you're coming with that. If you pack it too much, and they are such hungry plants, is that actually going to make it? It's going to make a lot of hard work in regards to looking after feeding them all the time.
That's where I'm going to.
Okay.
When these products, you need to feed them every week, and the more plants you have, the more needs they are going to have, because there are less soil, less compost.
They're all
for
fighting
each
for the
plant,
nutrients,
exactly.
of course. Yeah.
So you have to feed them, and this is extremely powerful boost. So that would be very good.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to pack them up, if you do a 4 single plants plus a centerpiece, they will end up joined together and filling up the shed. But you still have to feed them, right? And it's essential. It's just people just hang them on there, and then with the hose, you just water them from the. No. And then they wonder why my neighbor, who has a pub there, and he does this every single week. I see him.
Okay.
And he has the petunias till well into October in a very, very extremely nice.
Wow.
But he goes every day, and he puts down the baskets.
Takes them down.
And you just, and it
that
makes,
extra little bit of
makes
care
the
makes a huge difference. Okay.
He has a business, of course, so he has to look after those plants.
Of course.
But it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
If you feed them, than if you just water them.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to water them constantly, add some gel, some this.
So would this be really for the preparation stage? Would it be the moisture control? Because what you've got now, what we've got here now, this is the Miracle Grow, the water storing gel. So these are the gel kind of crystals that that kind of go in at the start. So let's talk about going from the start. So we've got our 16-inch basket there. You've actually got one.
Well, I actually brought a 14-inch just
one.
For comparing with the other. The size is just
okay.
You see, believe it or not, 2 inches make a lot.
Oh, well.
A big difference.
I'm sure a lot of people would agree with you there, but with those you can add a lot more into it as well too, and it can spread everything out.
Exactly, that's why I'm bringing the two of them. You can, it's up to you, up to your needs, up to your hunger, it's up to your place. And also,
you don't want to put anything that's too heavy if your bracket is not strong enough as well outside your house.
That's at the end, everybody has their own needs, their own taste. Some people like this small baskets, some people like cone baskets.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing 2 of them.
Yeah.
That will be, at the end, it will cost you more, but it will be more.
Oh, it'll be a lot. It's absolutely beautiful and it's full of colour. So I'm just actually going to drop this down here on the ground while we make a bit of room just for this one. So we've got our 14-inch basket. We've got our John Hines multi-purpose.
You need a very good compost for this. You can spare some money in filling beds and buy a ton bag or whatever, but for hanging baskets,
you need
a good compost.
Okay.
Plenty of nutrients. This one, very rich in nitrogen, and that will give them the perfect start. And then,
do you need to put anything at the bottom of the basket, or does it need to be when you're putting it in pots, it kind of might need to put a little bit of grit, or
no, you don't want to put extra weight on there.
Okay, perfect, makes sense.
If you put grit on the basket, you have the chance of just bending or folding bending the hanger, and just collapsing the whole thing.
Any holes? Don't need any holes.
Well,
I see that's lined with a plastic.
That should have a drainage.
It should have a small.
It should have a small little bit of drainage.
Okay.
Because what you don't want is the waterlogged here.
Well, if we get a lot of rain like we've had, this week,
we could see the water overflowing. Yeah, and it's not a joke, and that will be killing the roots of the plants. They will probably grow, but they won't grow big.
Not to the full potential.
They will be growing just not good looking, not good color, not full bloom.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely you need a few
little draining holes. Okay, just small little ones.
And then just fill it with the compost mixed with this.
Okay, so we'll be talking about a pinch of the gel, the Miracle
Yeah,
Grow
you just follow the instructions. It's basically 3 tablespoons for one hanger, 2 for this size, more or less, 3, 4 for the big one. But just follow the instructions that are normally in the bag. Just spread it mix it with the soil.
Mix it in.
When you water those crystals, they become gel.
Yes. Well, you see, they hold the moisture, don't they? And they actually expand.
They actually do. And that retains the moisture and slow releases that moisture to the plants, to the soil, to keep it for a little longer.
And what about our favourites? In other times when we were talking about potting, we put some kind of slow release stuff. Would you put that in, or would you focus on the all-purpose?
You can do that, but if you are a good compost, if you are using a good compost and you use this, you don't need the other one.
Okay, the Miracle Grow, yeah.
The Miracle Grow, I will use it more for shrubs. And yeah, if you don't want to be on top of the basket, you can use it, but you won't have the same results as if you use this. This is an extremely...
I tell you what, I swear you're working for Miracle Grow at this point, Miguel.
I normally... When I recommend something, because it's all very general and some things work better for people that use the tomato food, but this is better.
Yeah.
Actually, for these animals.
Okay, for these.
If you use this in hydrangeas, you won't have any flowering. You will have problems in shrubs. That's a very powerful boost. So you have to have in mind that they grow very, very quickly, and they need loads of food, basically, and that's better than the tomato food or the regular pour and feed or the other ones, in my opinion.
Okay, everybody, well, look, we're gonna take it and we'll definitely run with it. So we're mixing in the crystals. We're
with
getting
the
good
soil.
compost. And
just
then
fill it.
Start with your centerpiece.
Just fill the basket.
Get it all around.
And put your centerpiece and play around.
Yeah.
And that's it. Water it after a little bit and hang it.
And you have some beautiful selection of bedding plants here all across the garden centre.
I just brought petunias. But we have plenty of different things, Bacopa, Calibroscia, plenty of beautiful things, dioecious, everything you can imagine, every color, or nearly every color.
Nearly every color,
yeah. But we have in variegated petunias, these ones that are...
Oh, I see, there's kind of we're grabbing one here just from behind us where it's kind of a purple and white mixed flower. Wow, that's...
That, believe it or not, did you hate it or you love it?
People look at either.
When it's in full bloom, this thing is wonderful.
Petunia Night Sky is what it's called.
And it's just, this one is this flower you see here is more white but normally they are darker with white speckles.
White spots,
that's it's a very eye-catching. And then you combine different shades of pink and purple, oranges to make the colors you like. Yeah. We all have them here. Geraniums, trailing everything.
And everything here as well is like nearly just about ready to pop.
Exactly.
You know, so you're literally guaranteed that when you put it in, and if you get the right basket and everything, in a week or two,
you'll see the difference once you plant them, because all these plants are, as we were talking, they are. See the roots here? That's something you need to check always. Is the roots. When the roots are out, is perfect for planting them. You know? When the roots start going out, and see the way they grow. It's a small little plant, but has the whole pot colonized with roots already. Yeah. So they are just looking for more room. They're looking for more room.
We want to pop, and that's good.
And that's give me more room.
So would you say if you're going through the garden centre, turn it upside down, check underneath, and if there's no roots popping through as much,
you can wait a little bit, but see how they are. You know.
Now
it's all around.
Miguel has just pinched the bottom of the pot there and pulled out the plant, and you can just
see the quality, and you can see how they are wrapping around the pot, looking for more room for expanding. Right. Yeah. So if you give them a very good soil initially and a very good feeding after, you'll see what the way they grow is just from one day to the second day. You go every second day and you'll see a couple of inches growing and plenty of flowers coming. And I guarantee you that if you use this, right, I've seen people just like amazed after using this, and I have never had the pots like that before.
Yeah, yeah.
And a very complicated woman, I was doing her garden a long time ago.
Okay, right.
And And I started using this, and she said to me, she only told me that she was like, do this, do that. And she came one day and she said to me, I've never had the pots like that before. And I was, I won't tell you anything.
Miguel and his Miracle Grow, that was it.
Using this, does this, all right? And I guarantee you, it's very good. Don't forget pinching the flowers.
Okay.
Don't forget deadheading. That's something that people, well, when they are in full bloom, it's not easy going deadheading, all right?
Yeah. You don't want to touch it. It's like you just want to leave it.
But if you deadhead this annual, take the dead flowers out of them, you're encouraging new flowers. They start, somehow what they want is to reproduce.
Yeah.
And spread their seed. If you take the flowers, you're kind of teasing them. So they think they're not, so they are producing more. We have to create hormones.
More. Yeah.
So don't forget,
deadheading is very important.
It's very important.
Even when everything looks like a great and full bloom and you think you're going to do a bit of damage, you're actually not. You're encouraging more growth.
Exactly.
And the plant will last longer then, because if you leave them alone, Miguel, what happens?
Well, they focus on producing seeds. Well, not these fellas are hybrids. Most of them they want, but they still have that in their system. Call it this way. They want to produce seeds, so self-seed. So if you take the flowers out, they will produce more and more, thinking that they are not reproducing. Basically, it's not that easy, but it's kind of easy to understand that way. Yeah. Sometimes the dead flowers can provoke some fungus.
Okay.
Sometimes, if they create a canopy of dead flowers,
then
the new shoots won't come grow properly. Okay. So if you can and if you have time, just go.
Give it a bit of time.
A little bit of time.
And like you said, like that man outside his pub in Cork, take down the basket every now and again, go through it, give it a nice little bit of care, put it back up, and then you'll see.
You see them in late September, early October, and I keep looking at them and wow, that man, you know.
And the final question is one thing that everyone asks with hanging baskets is, how often do you water?
Well, there's no
definitive answer.
No, exactly.
So you literally depends on conditions where they are actually put, but you kind of just give them a little lift from the bottom.
A little bit lift from the bottom.
Now that's heavy now, because Miguel went around with the hose just before we started recording and gave them all a nice little water.
That's it. When you feel them, when you feel them
but it feels
light,
a bit lighter than it should.
Exactly. You normally won't see them unless you're very, very tall or they are very, very low.
Yeah.
But the way it will tell you.
Okay.
Don't leave them don't overwater them.
Yeah.
Be careful with water, but never leave them fully dry. The leaves will tell you anyway.
Okay.
When you see fluffy leaves, it's a very good indication.
Yeah. And the same obviously applies for window boxes, because a lot of people still love having window boxes and borders and things like that.
Everything is the same principle. Is loads of food, deadheading. And
good
if
compost.
You can give them, good compost.
And Miracle Grow.
And Miracle
Miracle Grow all purpose.
Don't use these in trees or shrubs.
Not trees and shrubs, won't have the same effect.
But use it in quick growing annuals or quick growing perennials. Perennials, be careful, but definitely they can take one dose a week.
So I feel today's show was brought to you in association
with Miracle Grow.
We might as well do an ad, but it's great. And look, at the end of the day, you're the gardening expert who's been doing it for years. You've seen the results, and that's what people want to hear. They want to hear results.
I've used everything, actually. I tend to try and make different.
So that's the one. Brilliant. Well, listen, Miguel, that is fantastic information. Lots of stuff there that you can hopefully create some beautiful hanging baskets that will adorn the outside of your house, the gateway in, and everyone will be going, wow, look at the beautiful colour, because that's exactly what you really want. You know,
that your
someone else commenting and saying, I want that.
Exactly. That's
Miguel, thank you so much, as always. And of course, if you have any questions for us here on the Garden Show, do text them in or give a phone call to Radio Kerry and leave a little note and say, this is a question for Alan and Miguel. Until next time, thank you to everyone here in Boyles and Clorglan. We'll talk to you again soon. Happy gardening.